There are some places in the world that belong to dreams, not maps. The Philippines is just such a paradise. Located in the heart of the Pacific Ocean, this country resembles a unique pearl with more than 7,600 beautiful islands scattered over the waters. And because this exquisite water country is surrounded on all sides by the deep blue ocean, it has no land borders. To the north is Taiwan, to the south Indonesia, to the west Vietnam and Malaysia. To the east lies the small island state of Palau. The capital Manila is in the north of the country and is located on Luzon, the largest island. Around 15 million people live in this bustling metropolis of more than 120 million inhabitants. But don't just think of Manila as a city. It is also a whole center of life made up of 16 different municipalities known as Metro Manila. The capital itself has around 2 million inhabitants, but the surrounding municipalities have a combined population of more than 15 million. This is a very dense population for the country's surface area of 300,000 square kilometers. Now you have some general information about the Philippines, but have you ever wondered how 120 million people live on these small islands? Let's answer that now. I traveled around the Philippines for about 2 weeks and searched for answers to these questions. I collected a lot of material about life in the capital, people's livelihoods, places to visit, and many more. Now I will share them with you and remove all the question marks in your mind. Now let's go to the richest corners of this fascinating country. Our first address is Makati. This is one of the most prestigious spots in the Philippines, right in the heart of Metro Manila. It is an elite city where luxury cars drive on the streets, world-famous brands shine in the shop windows, businessmen hold meetings in the cafes, women wear flashy clothes, and men wear charismatic and stylish clothes. If you want to see luxury and rich people, Makati is the place for you. Here you can discover every kind of luxury life you can think of. Of course, there are some realities behind this glittering life. For example, the currency of the Philippines is the peso, and the average salary in the country ranges from 10,000 to 50,000 pesos. That's between $200 and $900. And for a large part of the population, these salaries are just a dream. Most people living in Makati have a monthly income of over $2,000. If you plan to live in such an elite city, you will have to spend at least $3,000 a month. In Makati, you can live in very modern housing. These buildings were originally built as public housing, but over time they have evolved into luxury buildings. However, they can be a bit risky. Although they look quite impressive with their interior design, some high-rise buildings are at risk as the Philippines is located on active fault lines. For this reason, locals, especially the well-off elite, prefer to live in villas or low-rise buildings for a comfortable and safe life. If you dream of living in an affluent area like Manila, you can easily rent an average apartment or luxury villa for as little as $1,000. One of the most beautiful things about the country is its tropical climate. So much so that the locals hardly need warm clothes all year round. The country is humid and hot all year round, with temperatures usually ranging between 20 and 40 degrees. Filipino women usually wear halter tops, short skirts, and thin dresses, while men wear shorts or thin pants. And there are no restrictions on clothing in the country. Now let's take a look at the physical characteristics of Filipinos. Most Filipinos have slanted eyes as they carry the traces of Asian culture. The average height of men varies between 165 and 175 centimeters, while women are shorter than 165 centimeters. People living in this country usually get married before the age of 25 and have at least 2 children. If your goal is to marry a Filipino, it is not difficult at all. The people here are all friendly, warm, and open to offers. Especially Canadian and US citizens spend part of their lives in the Philippines. They marry a young and seductive Filipina and then return home. Of course, for Filipino women, this also means that they have the opportunity for a better life. Therefore, Filipino women can do their best to make you fall in love with them. On the other hand, Filipino women do not go out of the country just to get married. Many of them make a living babysitting, cleaning, or caring for the elderly all over the world. They are also highly preferred because they are friendly, hardworking, and warm-hearted. Now let's go to the most vibrant part of this wonderful country, the capital Manila. Because here you will come across a nightclub at every step you take. Moreover, you do not need to have a partner with you to have fun in these places. You can have as much fun as you want on your own. Of course, the fun continues not only in the venues but also outside, because the people of this country are very eager to go out and have fun, have a good time and meet new people. Especially the women of Manila will blow your mind. Usually traveling in pairs, these gorgeous girls often sit on the sides of busy streets. If you pay a little attention to your appearance and are a little polite, you can spend the rest of the night together. They will not give you any difficulties, they will be convinced immediately. Of course, there is a reason for this. Manila girls have no outlet in their society, so they make a living by keeping men happy. You can find a similar situation in massage parlors in the country. There are many massage parlors in the Philippines, and they are usually staffed by young girls between the ages of 18 and 24. These girls show off their flawless physiques and unique beauty so beautifully that they make you want to get a massage. Now let's look at daily life and prices. In supermarkets in Metro Manila, beans cost around $1.5, watermelon around $1. Chicken prices start at $2. Tropical fruits like pineapple and mango are expensive, even though they grow in the country. Fortunately, there are public markets. The markets established in low-income neighborhoods like Tondo are quite cheap. Fish, crab, lobster are displayed in the open air. Of course, you may be shocked about hygiene. For example, meat is sold on the street, attached to hooks. On the other hand, rich Filipinos usually eat out instead of cooking at home, as there is not much difference in price. The poor, on the other hand, fill their bellies with chicken fried on mobile stalls or noodles with sauce, which is cheap and convenient. But believe me, there are some who can't even eat that. Sometimes catering restaurants collect leftovers and throw them away. But at the edge of the garbage, the poorest people in Manila are waiting. They sort out the edible food from the trash. When they find a piece of hamburger or an uneaten chicken, they go crazy with happiness. Sometimes they even recook the food with different oils and spices and sell it to make a living. The Filipino poor call this practice pagpag. According to official reports, about 19 million people in the Philippines live on garbage waste, and this waste, experts say, is the best friend of both cancer and a new epidemic. By the way, even though I just said some nice things about the capital Manila, I didn't mention the harsh living conditions. There are about 4.5 million homeless people living on the streets of this city. This clearly shows that Manila is not just an entertainment center. Speaking of Manila, the streets of this city are like a labyrinth, and sometimes they lead to various slums. The roads here are often muddy. The houses are shack-like and can collapse instantly in a small earthquake. But that is not the point. The important thing is not to go into these neighborhoods alone, because when you least expect it, you can be robbed in a deserted corner. Don't trust anyone who lives here. Everyone is very serious and tense. I don't advise you to look at them the wrong way or to make any remarks, because these people live in isolation from the outside world. Now let's talk about transportation in the Philippines. If you need fast transportation in Manila, opt for motorcycle taxis, which are much cheaper than regular taxis. For a short distance of only 5 kilometers, you only need to pay 150 pesos or $2.50. This means that if you want to settle in Manila, you should definitely buy a motorcycle. You don't want to suffer in crowded public transportation due to the dense population, do you? Another striking point in the city is that many buildings are quite old and neglected. In fact, many of them are in ruins as if they had been through a war. Above these houses, there are cables surrounding the city like a spider. Telecommunication and electricity cables create a serious visual pollution. And this is the same not only in Manila, but also in many other South Asian countries. For me, The most amazing thing about Manila is the people who can hold their breath underwater for 8 minutes. Yes, you did not hear wrong. The Bajau people who live in the Tawi-Tawi region and continue their traditional life can stay underwater for 8 minutes. They fish by making fins, goggles, and harpoons with their own means. Moreover, they are very good at it. As a result, the Philippines is both heaven and hell. But no matter what, it is a location worth exploring. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe. See you next week.